My name is Dr. Susan Bello, and I'm here to tell you about the I method of spontaneous painting. And there will be time at the end of this presentation for your questions and for discussion. Before we begin, let me tell you briefly about my background. I began my research into potentials of human consciousness in India in 1972, where I studied and practiced Vipassana meditation, Buddhist philosophy, and yoga. I have a PhD in the psychology of art and expressive therapy from the Union Institute in the United States, a master's in humanistic psychology, and a bachelor's in education from New York University. I also have professional credentials in art therapy, group psychoanalysis, and biodanza. I've written and published 2 books on spontaneous painting. I've researched, given workshops and courses in the United States, Brazil, and Asia, and over the past 45 years created the I method of spontaneous painting, which I'm here to tell you about. People of all ages and cultures can benefit from experiencing this method because when someone paints with deep emotion, they can access a profound inner dimension of the mind that communicates in a universal symbolic language. And everyone knows how to paint spontaneously and express in this symbolic language of images our authentic self and our innate hidden potentials. Our rational mind only accesses a small capacity of our brain, and we need to develop our other intelligences as well. The acronym I stands for our innate, authentic, multiple intelligences, and they include our emotional, creative, intuitive, imaginative, visual, kinesthetic, spiritual, and symbolic ways of knowing. I am I. All of us are born with these innate intelligences, and all of them are developed in the I method of spontaneous painting. Education in most schools prioritizes our intellectual ways of knowing. In a world culture that increasingly prioritizes intellectual knowledge for the job market, society needs to rethink priorities and seek a balance that also values and includes educating the I am I, innate, authentic, multiple intelligences. Our brains and biological organism have many intelligences and ways of knowing besides our intellect, and we need to give equal importance to develop both our intellect and our I am I in a balanced way. In these times, it is necessary more than ever that education expands its frontiers of learning and begins to include courses like the I am I method of spontaneous painting, courses that teach a new model for mental health prevention, a social, emotional pedagogy that cares for human development. It's necessary for mental health that, in addition to an education for intellectual and commercial objectives, we develop an education of emotional learning, an environmental protection, emotional protection, and safety, where each person in the group feels cared for and listened to empathically. The facilitator of spontaneous painting is trained in how to create this safe space where students feel heard and accepted. And this method is practiced in group. The group is where I see you in your struggle and growth, and you see me in mine. I care for you and support you to bring forth your essential nature, and you do the same for me. And above all, I'm able to express my authentic essence. In the I Am I method, the person has the opportunity to paint their authentic voice and all their emotions, whatever they are feeling. There are no right or wrong, good or bad emotions. We stop judging our emotions as positive or negative, and instead we recognize that beneath the smile exists a person who is sad and feels, "No one is hearing me. Please hear me, see me, and understand me. I need to know that I matter." Participants are stimulated to question their limiting beliefs and have breakthroughs that may stimulate the development of new thought forms. All people who participate in the I Am I method do not receive or follow external directions from the facilitator. For example, now you are going to paint a tree. And as the painter feels safe, they gradually begin to express their inner truth with no concern for it being aesthetically beautiful, without thinking with their intellect or critical mind, beautiful, ugly, value judgments. Then we're creating conditions that permit the person's inner world to come forth and be liberated. Many times our tears and our fears and our needs to be accepted and loved blocks our authentic expression, and we never get the chance to really say what is going on inside of us. Often our true potential is diminished by a cultural system and an education that only recognizes our identity and our value when we get good grades, are competitive, efficient and productive, and certain ways of thinking are acceptable, and often when we're creative, we're often misunderstood because our ideas are different, or we're rejected because we're not conforming to social norms. So tragically, our creative fire and our true identity and our essential nature are often forgotten or repressed at a very young age, as education is really not concerned with developing human potential. It does not prioritize these aspects of our uniqueness. The objective is to conform. And so we live divided, our external self always trying to please and follow norms of behavior that are socially acceptable, and then there's our inner self that's often unknown to us and others, and it lives hidden inside of us. And we don't show our true selves. How might our lives have been different today if we had been taught from kindergarten to adulthood by trained facilitators who valued not only our performance, but also supported our human greatness and our inner gold. In today's world, where value is measured by the gold standard, we need to cherish our inner gold and bring it forth, because that gives us deep self-fulfillment. Here are 4 paintings of a person named Rosa who took this course. Rosa happens to be a painter, but prior knowledge of painting is not necessary in order to take the benefit of the course. After Rosa's son died of cancer, she was grieving for 6 years, and she only used the color black in her paintings, as you can see on the first painting she did in the course, which is all the way to the left. Rosa felt that she did not have the right to live, and she began the spontaneous painting course, and we can see in her first painting this figure in black with a force of light coming out of her mouth. It was the first time in 6 years that Rosa chose to paint with another color beside black. And the pain released in this painting experience gave her this affirmation: I have the right to live. In Rosa's second painting, which is shown in the upper middle, we can see a group of people dancing in a shower of light. This expresses Rosa's desire, something that she held deep inside and had never expressed. I have the right to dance and to feel happiness. And so you can gradually see how the bottom half of the painting is still painted in darkness, but the upper half, she is slowly beginning to give herself permission to connect to, I have the right to dance and feel happiness. After this painting, she began to make several others, and over the course of a year, her paintings began to manifest more and more light, and she began to incorporate this feeling of light and her divine self that had been hidden away into her life. And she stopped using the color black, and here you can see and witness her connection to her inner light coming forth in her painting series. When we face a blank canvas and spontaneously express our deep emotions with no preconceived ideas about what we're going to paint, then that which was forbidden or forgotten and lives deep inside of us has the opportunity to communicate and express through our innate, authentic, multiple intelligences, our I am I, onto a blank canvas. And in this slide, these intelligences are represented by these channels or bridges that connect to a large pink circular-like form. Within this form exist, just a hair's breadth below conscious awareness, our authentic self, divine nature, innate hidden potentials, and our life purpose. All of these aspects of ourselves express through these channels of the innate intelligences in symbolic imagery. Rosa and many others were able to liberate these hidden parts through their paintings and experience profound self-transformation. We begin every painting session with a preparatory exercise. The objective of this preparation is to relax the critical, judgmental thinking mind and help people slowly begin to connect to their inner world. No one tells the painter what to paint, and during the painting session, everyone begins painting in silence. After a few painting sessions, the painter's fear to lose control and to be in the unknown diminishes. As the painter enters into their inner process, their thoughts slowly begin to slow down. They lose sense of time, and they become completely absorbed in their painting process. The painter explores the significance of their symbolic images through writing exercises that they then share in small, intimate groups. These practices reveal what their symbolic images are expressing and what they might signify. The writings and various other group practices are translating the symbolic language in the paintings into a verbal language. It is important to decipher the symbolic language into a verbal form so that the intellect begins to understand what this inner world is expressing. Thus, we make this bridge, connecting the symbolic language to the verbal language. I'm now going to read to you what this painter wrote about 5 of her paintings that she did over the course of a year. Here, this first painting on the left, painting number 1. I was accustomed to operate with my rational mind. At the same time, I felt something transforming inside of me, an enormous feeling of compassion for my inner child, she wrote. I need to leave home and discover the world outside of the conventional beliefs of my family. Father, mother, I cannot sacrifice my life to conform to your expectations and beliefs. I need to discover my compassion and love. I need to express my truth, and I will not be abused. I can no longer live hiding in fear. Many times I wanted to not speak and to be invisible in order to not express any feeling or idea. I always thought that people would not be interested in listening to me. This feeling has always permeated my life, and I believe I felt this way ever since I was an infant. I have memories of situations where I wanted to be silent and not speak. This is painting number 2 on the right. She titled it The Mask, and this is what she wrote. This being is me, a shaman. I have been called upon to orient those who need me. You have allowed me to come forth now through this painting. However, we have been connected for a very long time. I am a spiritual being. I come to speak now about spirituality, ancestors, kindness, and the collective. My mouth that has been shut for a long time is wanting to speak now, and it's express things repressed from childhood. In the past, my confidence and trust were betrayed. Now I am creating a new reality in this present time, and my affirmation that comes from this painting is, I trust and I surrender. I speak from my heart. Painting number 3 on the left is titled Transmuting and Opening to the New. In this painting, we can see that the brush strokes have become more fluid and less defined. Internal, rigid structures and blocks to self-expression are dissolving. The painter wrote, My inner child is leaving behind her fears. I am free from restrictive social rules. I am removing constrictions and barriers that impeded my vision. There is an awakening to a way of seeing that shows me the light. Before I read to you what the painter wrote about her painting number 4, I would like to explain about the self-directing principle. When our mind is not influenced by external stimuli, information, people telling you what you must paint or express, then the painter has the opportunity to be self-directed. When we can express our emotions freely through the creative impulse, there exists, according to the Swiss psychotherapist Dr. Carl Jung, a mechanism within the psyche that directs the self to wholeness. This internal directional force functions in the IMI method of spontaneous painting, and I have called it the self-directional principle. This is an inner guidance, and the painter does not follow any external directions, but paints spontaneously, an inner stimulus that is orienting the painter. Now I will read to you what this painter wrote about her painting number 4 on the right. The figure in blue. I am the mother, the great mother, who cares for and holds everything. I am my own caring mother. Light and darkness, masculine and feminine, I hold this new being with acceptance. My life project is the process of being born. My life project is in the process of being born. I symbolize life, nature, balance between my parts, the masculine and the feminine, the heart and the rational mind. Everything is in perfect harmony. Everything is as it should be. Everything has a motive for being. Go forth with faith and confidence and surrender to divine guidance. The limiting thought from my past is, I am afraid to see and believe in my light. My new affirmation is, I want to observe and see myself with honesty, and I am reprogramming, bringing forth the voice of my authentic self. In painting number 5, the painter wrote, I am a tree with profound and strong roots. I have been here for a very long time, and I have lived through many seasons. My branches are delicate, and yet they can support many storms. I assume the fullness of who I am. I am the light of inner compassion. I express the fullness of my existence. I celebrate life on my own terms. I acknowledge that I am a being of light. I vow to speak the truth of my authentic and divine self and use my light to help others heal and live from this new consciousness. The rational intelligence is not able to access these depth dimensions of the mind. The IMI method liberates this life energy that is buried within and allows the painter's innate potentials and authentic self to emerge and develop. The symbolic paintings express this process of self-transformation. First, the energy is liberated in the paintings, and over time, these symbols begin to influence the painter's new choices, behaviors, and interests. The self-directional principle we saw operating in these last few paintings is revealing this inner direction. The painter did not consciously choose what to paint. The painter expressed spontaneously through the channels of the innate, authentic, multiple intelligences, and the direction of what to paint came from within. I have consistently observed this process of self-transformation occur in the spontaneous painting processes that I have accompanied over the past 40 years in various cultures. Creating images is the universal language of our species, and it is a forgotten language. The rational brain does not access these inner depth dimensions as our I can. Whether you speak English or Spanish or French or Chinese, people of all ages are born with this ability to express their inner reality in the universal language of symbolic images. The following 3 paintings were done by students in primary school. This slide is a painting of a 5th grade student. She wrote, "There are always feelings that I have to hide from people. But when it is art, I can connect to a million feelings when I paint." Meditation is another part of spontaneous painting that we can sometimes do to focus and relax before we paint. This next slide was painted by a 6th grade student, Marian Chung. She wrote, "I am hidden, blue, a broken treasure within a paradise of my emotions. I feel lonely." Casey, a student in the 6th grade, wrote about her painting, "Spontaneous painting helps me to relax. I don't need to think about what to paint. It's a time when I can paint freely and express my true feelings. Spontaneous painting helps me to know more about the feelings of my friends." These are various quotations from students of all ages who experienced the course. I will read some of them to you. "I never painted before, and I never had the opportunity to create whatever I wanted to. There was always someone telling me what to do, so that the experience of being spontaneous and free was new to me." Another person wrote, "Here, I face a blank white paper. I do not know what is going to happen. I'm not controlling anything, and I give space for the enchantment of my imagination." This person said, "I want to learn and to accept and to take the responsibility to create my happiness. I'm a creator of my own life. I would like to learn more about this in school, that I am responsible for creating my own life." The I method of spontaneous painting is an interdisciplinary training and learning experience. Participants study a specific methodology that includes expressive therapy, movement and meditations used in the preparatory pre-painting phase, contemplative and creative writing, empathic listening, knowledge in facilitating groups, mindfulness meditation to develop the inner observer, and other forms of meditation. And participants learn how to create affirmations based on the symbols. There is a recommended reading list and a training manual I wrote to accompany this course. Who should apply for this training? Professionals who already have a license working with groups in some capacity as a therapist, educator, life coach, healthcare professional, and would like to include an inner-directed art approach in their work. If you have no prior experience working in an educational or therapeutic capacity, then this training may not be for you. However, if you are passionate about wanting to learn and feel a deep motivation or calling to do this, then please contact me. If you would like to become a facilitator of the method, you first need to experience your own painting process and take a 3-month course online. How can you accompany others empathically if you have not taken your own spontaneous painting journey first and experienced what it feels like to be bound by your limiting beliefs and walk into a new way of being? This cannot be learned intellectually. No prior experience with art making or painting is necessary in order to receive the benefits of this method. Creative self-expression is a natural human gift we all can develop when given the opportunity. Instead of coping with painful emotions through various addictions to food, drugs, or alcohol, or suppressing our strong emotions, which leads to anxiety, depression, rage, and even violence, courses in preventative mental health, like the spontaneous painting method, offer individuals healthy creative outlets for self-expression and support. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could discover our unique potentials and manifest them in the world? Wouldn't it be wonderful if our authentic self had the opportunity to emerge from hiding? Spontaneous painting provides people of all socioeconomic backgrounds, from the advantaged to the homeless, and people with or without special needs, effective tools to develop their I am I. Wouldn't it be wonderful if everyone could feel empowered and discover who they truly are? And together, as each person emboldens their inner greatness, we can form a critical mass, and that will cause an evolutionary breakthrough in human consciousness. This is a grassroots movement, art, for personal and social transformation. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could bring this method to art education? We need to create more opportunities for everyone to connect to their inner world and experience courses like the I Am I method of spontaneous painting. It is my hope to extend the definition of creativity so that not only artists, but all of us believe in our capability as co-creators of our own lives and shape them to correspond to our heart's desires and unique resources. Will education assume this challenge and begin to prioritize educating the whole brain? It has long been my dream to train more facilitators who will take the I Am I method to all sectors of society, prisons, education, and business. And if you would like to take an online course and experience the method, or receive more information to present to people who may be interested and spread the word, please enter in contact with me. This is a grassroots movement, art for personal and social transformation. I look forward to hearing from you.